Are you stuck in sales? Or you're a digital agency owner and you're spending all your time on sales, writing up tons of free proposals, doing the dog and pony show, and you want a salesperson to come in and take it over so you can do what you're best at. Or maybe you enjoy sales, but you don't like all the aspects of sales and you need the help to do it, and you really want to grow your business and do the things that you love. In this video, I'm going to show you the 8 different types of digital agency salespeople that you can hire. We're going to talk about how much they cost, how to hire them, how to train them, and the things that you need before you get those salespeople. Now, if you want a fast shortcut to figuring this out, I'll ask you about 10 questions if you click the messenger button below, and I'll help you to figure out which agency salesperson is the best for you, and also give you some opportunities to even shortcut the process even further. My name is Ian Garlic. I'm the founder of VideoCaseStory.com. Video case stories are one of the best things you can use in your agency sales, but also we certify other agencies to use our sales system. We have a certified strategist program. So when you message me, if you're interested in it and it's a good fit, we can talk about it. I have run Video Case Story for 6 years now, run our agency for 15 years. It's had different versions. Over that time, I have worked with dozens of salespeople, helped to create other agency training systems and sales systems. I have sold millions of dollars, and now I do not create any more free proposals, and I do not have a high-powered salesperson. But all of that has led to a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience. This is not something I learned yesterday. I've worked with some of the top salespeople in the world, and we're going to get into that right now, which one is best for you, how to find them, how much to pay them, all that stuff. All right, we're going to talk about the most expensive now. This is the sales rock star. This is what everyone's looking for, right? It's someone who can come in, just take over sales and run with it. Now, this is by far the hardest one to find, right? This is the hardest one to find and the most expensive. You're looking at probably at least $100,000 base year one. It is going to take you at least a year to hire them. You're going to need training for them and showing them through all of your agency SOPs, your systems, what you sell, your value proposition. You're still going to need to manage them too. In the first 3 months, you will need to spend at least 1 day a week with them, right? And over time, you'll need to spend at least 2 to 3 hours a week with them. And in that training process, you're going to need to give them at least 90 days to get footing, at least 6 months before you're going to be profitable on this person. And you probably need to give them really a year before they're up and really going. Can you find this person and not have any of that happen? Sure. You could have someone come swoop in and take over everything. But those people, they're making anywhere from $400,000 up to $1 million a year. All right. And you might say they could make that, but those people have been through this. They know that. This is a unicorn. This is going to be a tough one for you to find. And even if you do find them, you need ready to pay them, ready to train them, ready to manage them. So next up, let's talk about the all-in-one salesperson. Now, this is similar to the rock star, but this person is, you're going to need to have a sales system for them to run, right? If they're going to do outbound, you're going to need to give them the tools to do outbound. You're going to need to give them lead generation. You are going to need to show them how to sell this, how to run your systems, your sales systems. They're going to cost at least $70,000 flat plus commissions, right? You're going to take 3 to 6 months to hire this person. You're going to take 6 months to a year to train them. You got to give them at least 6 months before you really can judge them. And from a management standpoint, like the other one, like the Rockstar, you're going to spend at least a day a week with them, an hour a day just talking with them, doing sales stand-up. And for them, you're going to need collateral. You're going to need stories to give them. You're going to need marketing. And in general, I would say you'll want to have some authority. The digital agency space is so tight right now that you are going to need some authority for them to sell off of. I'd probably say if you get good at hiring people, this will be a good one for you to find. Then you're going to need to train and manage this person. You're going to have KPIs, etc. So this is one where you might want to figure out 2 or 3 of these people and hire them at once. You need to have the budget for it, and you need to be ready to manage them. And in general, you're going to want to have leads for them. They'll do some outbound, but they're not going to be really good at outbound right away because they don't know your market. Next up is the consultative closer. This is great if you have a ton of leads coming in. This is not a high ticket closer. This is a consultative closer. You do not want a high ticket closer. I've talked about this before, because they are just going to close clients and you're like, that's great, Ian, but they just don't set the right expectation. It makes for a bad relationship. It is going to kill your profits. So don't think that you're going to find this person and you're going to drive a ton of leads to them and they're going to close right away. In general, you can get away with less for this person, maybe 40, 50 base, but you're going to need to have systems for them. You're going to need to have leads for them. You're going to need to train them. And I'll talk about one of the best ways to train these types of people, but you're going to still need to manage them, especially at first. You're going to need to watch closely their closing. They're going to have to, at least for a month, be on sales closing calls with you. And then probably 2 to 3 months prior for hiring one of these, I would once again suggest hiring 2 of them at first. And then you're going to need to go drum up leads for them, right? You're going to need to have lead generation dialed in and be prepared to manage this person. Once again, be prepared to really manage this person. This is great if you have a ton of leads, you have a good closing rate, but also expect that once they go on their own, probably they're going to start out with a closing rate about half of what yours is. So next up is the strategist. This is a person who can help with strategy, obviously. If you have a paid strategy session, they can run that paid strategy session for you. You can learn it. You still want them to have some sales skills and be leading into the next steps, right? This is where it's still good to have a system where that they come in, you sell the strategy, they run the strategy, but when they're done with the strategy, it is a natural next step to spend more and more money with you, to grow the relationship, to do more with you and your agency. The cost of this, you're probably looking at, now this won't be as much of a commission, so you're probably looking at 60 to 65 minimum to start, and a small commission I would suggest. The hiring process, you could actually hire this one a little bit faster because you're looking at someone who has a marketing background, but has some sort of sales skills. But that training is going to be extensive. You need to have good training for them on how to run your strategy and good training for them to lead into the next steps of going from a small paid strategy session to a bigger project to even a bigger retainer. You're going to need to manage this person. This won't be as much management because you're going to be selling the strategy. You're going to be getting leads. You're just going to need to watch their strategy sessions after time, but they're going to need a lot of training, like I said. So it's probably going to be like 3 months to 6 months before you're really comfortable letting them on their own. Plus, they will need all of the tools, right? They will need all of the systems. They will need pre-call, follow-up, post-call. The more of that you can give them, the more likely you're going to succeed. You can't just simply say, hey, go run our strategy. You need to have a strategy system. So next up is the relationship manager. Now this is a little bit different, and you might know this, but especially if you're in a niche environment, like I was with working attorneys, or you're working with a lot of doctors, you can have someone that's just going out to networking events, on sales calls with you, but is helping drum up business through relationships and is nurturing those relationships. Now, this person, on average, you can get for less, $45,000, $50,000. From a hiring standpoint, it's actually going to be a little bit easier to find this person, but they're not going to take any of the sales real heavy lifting off of your plate. You're still going to need to have systems for taking from someone to prospect, lead to prospect, closing strategy. You're going to still need to close deals. They might be able to follow up with you, but they're not going to be able to close deals. They're not going to be able to build proposals. They're not going to be able to work the strategy, and they're not going to be doing any cold lead generation for you. So this is where you would need to be sending them to spending money on specific events and really managing them and spending at least an hour or two a week after you get them trained to see who they're talking to. Now, this is the most nebulous one too. This could be a year before you see definitive results from someone like this. And it's not going to unstick you from sales. You're not going to get out of sales at all with this. It's just going to be a warmer lead that's coming through the door. This is great if you're just like me, an introvert, and you hate going to events. You need to, or you speak from stage and you need someone to talk during trade shows. Next up is the foot in the door closer. A foot in the door, in case you don't know what that is a paid strategy session. It's a paid strategy session or some sort of small thing that you do to solve a problem. All right. I created a whole course on how to build this and how to design it. If you're interested in, when you message me, let me know. But this is the easiest way to close deals faster. You should have a solid foot in the door. And you can get someone just to close this if you're getting the leads, because it's a smaller sale. While consultative, it is not as big of a sale. And if you set it up right, it's a no-brainer sale. So that if you're getting the right leads and they're handling the system the right way, it is a no-brainer sale. This is going to be less expensive still. You probably get away with someone like this for $35,000 base plus a good commission. But you'll want to have a foot in the door, be a strong system to be able to manage the KPIs, the key performance indicators. You're going to want to hire 2 of these people at once and expect that once again, your sale rate is going to drop in half from you closing that person. And from a management standpoint, you're going to need to train and manage them for a while. You're looking probably 90 days before they're really succeeding at this with great scripts. And you're going to need to continue to manage them. They can grow into a better role, but this is definitely a place that you need to be thinking about down the road. And if you don't have a foot in the door, I've helped agencies grow massively by building out their foot in the door. You can also use ours if you become a video case story strategist. This is one of the best ways, I think, to develop a sales person from inside, though. And then next up, we're appointment setter, SDR, sales development representative. This is someone who's just basically making appointments for you, setting appointments. They're doing outbound for you, leading to sales. Now, if you don't have a sales system, you're just going to have more appointments. The quality of appointments will not be anywhere near what you have with referrals. You still need a way to nurture these people. You're going to need to develop a system around this, how they're doing outreach, how they're closing it. They're going to have to fit in your calendar, and you're going to need to monitor their numbers. From a cost standpoint, these people look to top out around $75K, so you could probably get in at half of that plus commission. So you're looking at $35K to start. From a training standpoint, you are going to need to make sure you have a good outbound system that you can train them on. Good messaging. Authority is preferable, right? Have them have stories to use in their outbound. Video case stories is one of the best things you can do in outbound. And you will need to develop a hiring system for this person, because you're going to need to go through a decent amount of these people. You can find one really quickly, but they all don't succeed because you're hiring someone who's pretty entry level with some minor sales experience. Finally, the one I love the most to start is a sales coordinator. This is a person that if you have a solid system, you just go ahead and you have them run the system for you. I have what we call a no selling sales system, because I just provide value along the way. And we have logical step, foot in the door, next, which is the video case story, tackle box, next steps. And we have all of these systems in place that they can just run for me. I've given them valuable emails to send out. I give them a ton of content. We have authority. So people come in somewhat pre-sold, and they're just running our video case story system, the Strategist system. Once again, if you want to be a part of that, let me know. But from a management standpoint, it's a lot easier because you can just look and see activity-wise. Are they sending the emails? Are they following up with people? Are they sending the proposal that day? From a cost standpoint, it's much, much lower. I've worked with some of these people because I've had people overseas for $7 an hour, locally for $15 an hour. But from a hiring standpoint, you can hire them faster. From a training standpoint, it is easier to train them because you don't have as much training to do. But they are going to, this is one of the highest leverage things, if you have a good sales system in place and you have some authority in place, because it can take you down, especially if you have a good foot in the door system like the Video Case Story Strategist program or build out your own. It can take you down to an hour and a half of your time per sale because they can do all the qualification, all the follow-up, all the rote work. So you're really just coming in to close the strategy, the foot in the door, and then run it. And this one is one of my favorites. I'm going to make some videos about finding this person, hiring them, and training them down the road. But these are the types of salespeople. Now, which one is best for you? Like I said, if you message me down below, I'll ask you about 10 questions and give you a little guide of which one's best for you. And then I'll also give you access to the next videos, which will be the 3 things, talking about the systems, the stories, and the authority, how to build those. And also I'm going to make a video on the 7 steps I would do if I was starting all over, and exactly the sequence that I would do these in. But all right, if you need help with this, let me know. Just message me. I'll ask you those 10 questions. Or if you're interested in becoming a part of the OK Story Strategist program and just swiping all of our systems, let me know.